show you my conversion of Red by Mirabilia, and just so there's no confusion going forward, the title of the pattern is called Red, but I have stitched her in shades of green. I really love how she turned out. I was able to get a really nice rich emerald color that I was looking for in her cape, and I was able to give her a nice subtle green for the body of her dress. I followed the pattern pretty closely in terms of the converted colors, but I did go rogue in some areas, and I'll try and point those out as best I can. All the information will be down below in the description box. If you're on a tablet or your phone, there should be a little arrow next to the title of the video, and if you click that, the description box should open up, and you'll be able to see all the real information for the conversion there. I couldn't quite capture all the accurate colors, or rather the richness of the colors, so stick around to the end of the video and I will stick in a little photo slideshow that more accurately shows everything and gets you some up-close photos of her. Alright, so starting at the top, you know, aside from the green conversion, most of the colors have remained the same. Her hair color is the same. Most of the skin tones are the same. I did make the two lightest shades. It's right here, and then this main light shade. I changed those a little bit. I tried to make the color gradient a little, I guess, more subtle, since there were blended colors in her skin tone. I wasn't gonna do the one method that you do for over one skin, and instead I tried to find color replacements, and so it turned out okay. I'm fine with it. I think I changed her lip color as well. Another change I made was right at the top. There were supposed to be some beads that kind of came down here, and I didn't understand. I don't know if it was supposed to be like the opposite side of her hood, kind of coming past her head, or I don't know. It didn't really make sense to me, so I just kind of took out the beads and rounded out her forehead a little bit. And then here I changed the color of these kind of flower beads. In the original, they were kind of they were like a black color, blackish blue with that aurora borealis finish to it, and I couldn't quite find a match to it, and so I had gotten this, I'd gotten just plain black, and it was fine. It would blend, it won't stand out as much as this color, but it just didn't do much for me. And I'd gotten this other reflective color that really was not right at all, but I decided to go with this kind of coppery rose gold kind of color as an accent, and that'll show up further down in her cape. And I attached these flower beads by coming up through the center of the bead, adding a similar color petite bead, and then going back down through the center of the flower bead to anchor it. And I'll insert a photo that's a little bit closer up and at an angle so you can kind of see how that looks. So I just happen to have similar color beads on hand for a different project, and so that worked out for me. You can also try doing like just a clear petite bead. I probably would try and stay away from doing a size 11 bead, because that would get kind of big and bulky, but you know, it's your call. It's whatever you like to do. But that's how I anchored mine on there. Alright, so now in her midriff section, the darker green on the outside, kind of, that is a Dinky Dyes color. There wasn't a whole lot of variation to it, so I'm not sure. I haven't looked through my DMC to see if there was another color that's really similar to it or not, but there was just a little bit of variation in it. And so, you know, as with any hand dyes, if you can, look at it in person first, but if you're ordering online, then I would just bear in mind that the hand dye colors are going to have some variation, and so if you get the same color as me, it might not look the same, so just keep that in mind. I can only show you what I picked out and what I use, but the skeins you get may be a little bit different. And this dark gray that I use, that's also a Dinky Dyes, but mine was also fairly solid. And I think the DMC 3799 is also a very close match. I'll try and stick in some photos to show that. I kind of struggled finding the right color beads for the center of her dress. I wasn't sure how much I wanted the beads to stand out, and then I was just having problems finding the right colors to use. And so I had originally found this light green in here. It's a matte color, and they only had it in a size 15, so that's kind of what I went with. And it blends in really well, but it kind of blends in a little bit too well. You can tell that it's a bead, but sometimes you can't. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. And then this darker green that I have up here, it's kind of one of those colors where not every single bead is the exact same color, but they all kind of work together. And so I didn't pay attention to which one I was grabbing, and whatever I grabbed, that's the color that went there. So coming a little bit closer, you can kind of see that they're all pretty much the same, but there are some variation to the darker petite beads. So you can see when I kind of pull back a little bit, the petite beads, both because of their size and their color, they do tend to blend in a little bit. So, you know, it's personal preference if you want to stick with that, or if you want to go for a more obvious look. You might have to change the color though, because like I said, I struggled to find the right color and with the size 11. So, alright, so I guess we'll start with these light colored beads. And these are kind of, the actual bead itself is a copper lined clear bead, and it's really, I really like it, and I really liked just the little bit of color pop that it gave. I didn't really want something that was too in your face. I wanted something a little bit more subtle, but there was just a little bit something different to break up the green a little bit. And so these ones fit the bill, and they matched with those flower beads up at the top of her cape as well. And then I kind of changed the coloring in here. I think these are supposed to be black, and then right, this line is supposed to be this kind of gunmetal color, and then just this is supposed to be the accented color. But I had a petite bead that looks very similar to this copper lined, and so I switched it a little bit so this color stands out a little bit more. And I'll try and, you know, make a note of that in the description, what I did, so that you can either do the same or just follow how the pattern has the coloring to it. Let's see, another thing. I got a separate color for this line of beads that goes around the border of the cape. I I just felt like I wanted the color to blend in a little bit more. The bead itself is a really nice kind of color. I think it's called like a cranberry lined amber or something. It sounds like there's going to be like a lot of red in it, but there's not. Try and get in. I think you can see that. And then I used the darker green petites around the big size 8 bead, and originally it's charted just to be the black size 8 bead that is used up in the trim of the hood and around her arm. And I originally was going to do that, but I had these, you know, kind of metallic-y green beads left over from my Mermaid of Atlantis, and so I used those instead. And again, those were just ones that I had on hand, and I was originally going to use what was charted, but I just was playing with the bead colors towards the end. So, and down here at the border, I kind of struggled picking out these colors, one, because I didn't know what kind of color scheme I wanted to use for these little motifs here. You could probably still use the same colors that are charted for the original and it would look fine. But I think I was looking for something that just stood out a little bit more, and I really wanted to use those copper lined beads, so I had to figure out a way to incorporate it. And with the colors that I picked, they kind of look like uteruses and ovaries, but whatever. I still like it. So that's what I've got there. And that is a wrap on red. So thank you again for everyone who has been patiently waiting for me to get this information out. I know it took me a little bit longer than I had hoped to get this all out there for you, but here it is. Again, everything will be down in the description box, and stay tuned for a little slideshow of some close-up photos of her. And thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.